Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jersey's Finest. Today, I will be one of your hosts. I'm Liz Seiko. I'm joined by Darian Scalamoni. He will be my co-host today. And we have on one of my best friends, the incredibly talented Andrew Russel. He is an actor. Woo! He is currently in the newest HBO series Task, where he plays Ethan Brandis. I'm so excited to have you on.
So excited to be here.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just so excited. Andrew and I have known each other for honestly like 10 years at this point, which is crazy. We went to college together. He's an incredible actor, and I just can't wait to talk about your work, your experience, what you kind of have done in order to get you to HBO onto the new show. And so we're just really excited to have you here.
So excited to have you. I met Andrew all of about 15 minutes ago. So we also have a great rapport.
Love at first sight.
So yes, absolutely. But no, seriously, thank you for being here. So excited to jump into everything that you've done in your career so far. So really excited.
Okay, we're going to just start with like very, very nice icebreaker. Okay. Why don't you kind of tell us about your first ever performance? Like I'm talking like elementary, like your first memory of being on a stage or acting of any sort.
Cool. I think compared to other like people coming to acting, I came a little later to the game. I came into it in middle school. That's when I first took drama class. And I actually do remember my first performance, my first actual performance in front of like an audience. Mm-hmm. It was, I think, in 6th or 7th grade. And it was in this play. It was something like Law and Order Fairy Tale Mysteries or something. It's like, it was this really, it's so weird. It was just like, you're following these two detectives try to figure out a murder that happened in like the fairy tale world. And I played Pinocchio. And I had one scene. And I remember I had this like prosthetic nose that extended out to here.
Of course.
Yeah. And I remember when I first got on stage, everyone just cracking up, like just laughing really hard. And I thought it was because I actually don't really know. I mean, I was like 7th grade. Like I didn't know what it meant. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it was just a very phallic looking nose. Yeah. I'm sure that's what all the parents
But so what you're trying to say is that you were made for crime dramas. Because from the very beginning, you had fairy tale murders, and now we're here.
Yeah.
At your present moment in your career. Basically, you're just made for crime.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Honestly, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Where it all started.
No, middle school performances. I've actually never have asked you that, too. I never knew like when you started.
Yeah.
Middle school performances are dark stories.
Yeah, they're legit. They definitely open you up to a different side of yourself that you would have never known.
Yeah.
For you, though, like what propelled you to even want to do something like that? Like at that moment, like were you interested in the arts from that point, or was it like you decided to do that on a whim and then you kind of fell in love with the arts in general?
Yeah, I think I remember because as a kid I was really shy, so to the point where like I was like scared of like men. I would cry if people. I was like very shy, but I do remember as a kid I did like performing in the sense of like I like to do like dances for my parents or like sing songs for them. And then when I got to middle school, I was in public school. So I initially went to private school, and they didn't really have like, as an elementary kid, you're not like signed up for drama or anything. And in middle school, one of the kids who lived on my street was a big theater guy, and he convinced me to take this drama class. And I went in kind of like not with any expectation, and through that class, I realized that like whatever we were doing, because I didn't know acting was a career back then, I was just like, this is really fun. And I know for me, I started coming out of my shell with this concept of like, you know, drama, theater, characters. Like that really brought me out of my shell, which made me drawn to it. And I think from there, that's where it started. And then I do remember it transitioning into like a career really landed in high school. The summer of my junior year, I attended, there's this thing called Governor's School. I don't know if that's in New Jersey as well.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. What is it?
In North Carolina, there's this thing. It's called Governor's School. You have to like do this like crazy testing. It's like weird things where it's like, you have a sheet of paper and you fold it and you hole punch one corner. What does it look like when you unfold it? Like really specific.
No.
It was
interesting.
Very interesting.
Super interesting. That was like one of the quizzes. You had to do you had to write a paper. You had to do math problems and stuff. And there were different focuses you can go in for. And at the time I was doing drama for so long. I was like, I'll just go in for like theater. Like I like that. And I went through. I auditioned for the first time. That was like my first real audition where I had to like, I don't know if I did a monologue or like some sort of scene. And I got in junior year of my high school. And there I did like a 6-week intensive sleepaway camp, essentially. I'm on like a college campus with we have an ensemble of like 7 to 12 people. I don't remember the exact number. And you're just doing theater like really like every day for like 6 weeks. And it was my first time being away from home for that long.
Yeah.
And my first time actually like approaching theater as like an art form as opposed to just like fun games and like kooky characters.
Yeah.
And then like talking to my instructors there and them telling me that like, oh, like we do this for a living. And I remember being like, wait, what? Like you could do that?
You're like, you make money?
Yeah, literally.
Like
how?
Like,
you can go to college for that? And like that, I really do attest a lot of like my artistic, at least the seeds really being planted to that 6-week summer camp. I don't want to call it summer camp, but
it was like, yeah, it was like summer camp.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, hey, that's like the roots, I feel like, for anybody when they start thinking about it. And then, so then when you realize like, oh, okay, I could go to college for this, was it right away like a decision that you made, or was it something that you were teetering on?
Well,
what was that like process like of you deciding to go to a college for acting and then
100%.
like
I remember when I made that decision that I wanted to be an actor, it's just, I think there's something different when you choose the arts or entertainment as a career, because there's a lot of connotations to it, because it's entertainment. So you don't really think of it as like a way to sustain yourself or like as a way to make a living, because it's like, it's just TV shows, it's just plays. And I know for me, it was a difficult decision to make in the sense that I knew I would be disappointing people. But also with like my wonderful support system at the time, like a lot of my friends, I felt supported enough to be making this decision for myself and not so much like, what is the word? Like not the logical decision, but like
easier option to,
like a choice that would mean that I was settling, and then I'd just be living, just wondering like, what if I did, the what if game, which
who wants to do that?
Yeah, who wants to do that? You only got one life.
So you talked about when you were growing up, you were a lot more shy, and it kind of broke you out of your shell, and like you said, it kind of started as like, I guess, somewhat of an escape, right, where you're kind of putting yourself in other characters. But you just brought up, again, like a support system. Was that kind of need or desire for a community something that you felt maybe even when you went to that intensive summer program that kind of made you feel like, oh, well, like these are the types of people I want to surround myself with as I get older, and what I want to do my work with these types of people?
Yes, and I do know like I had like my friends on the street, but my really core people who I think really formed the Andrew that I am today was from friends in my theater class in high school, and then just all of my experiences as an artist. Like those people have influenced me so much and have made me the person that I am today, that I feel like had I not joined the arts, I would be so curious to see what kind of person I could potentially be in that like multiverse world where I never did theater and I became a nurse or a doctor. Yeah. The art saved my life.
It did. It's also so crazy when like, because I went through the same thing of people being like, you're doing acting, like you're gonna go to school for theater, how are you gonna make money? And it's like, going to college for anything now at this point, it's like, how is anybody gonna make money?
Your frontal lobe is barely formed.
Literally, it's like these people that thought they were gonna go and be lawyers, like they're doing something complete opposite. Like they don't want to. They're actually actors most likely now. Like that's the joke. And so I just think it's funny that back like then when we were growing up and that whole choice of kind of doing something that isn't necessarily like the smart way, now I feel like it's the complete opposite, where it's like, well, if you're gonna go to college, go and do something that you love before you're completely locked down and then have bills and like have to go and like get a normal job. So I just think it's funny how things are kind of starting to change. And then it's also now affecting younger kids of how they choose to go to a college and how they approach like a path for acting, because when we were growing up, you were told, you were like, you still need to go get a degree.
Yes.
You still need to go get a bachelor's, and then you need to go get a master's degree, and then you go and you start auditioning. And I think now it's much more of like, no, just get to work and start filling your resume. Do you agree with that? Do you think like it's right?
I think there's definitely a huge shift. I think even like with the introduction of like how big social media has become from when we were in high school, middle school to where it is now, the accessibility and I think just how easily people can have a platform, not platform in the sense of like an entertainment, but like how easy it is to see people living the life you want to live. Because like for me, it took until me being a junior in high school to see like, oh my God, wait, this is something that I actually want to do. Whereas a kid growing up now on social media can see like there are trends of people who are like, I am a video game streamer. Like that's my main source of income. This is how you do it. I'm a model. This is the way I did it. This is the way I did it. You know, like there are more ways to see these paths towards potentially the arts or like any other avenue that is more accessible than it was, you know, like what did we have? Like I grew up during like the AOL.
Yeah, that's the reference I bring up all the time. Totally. I'm like, I feel like we're in the perfect range of where we still understand what it was like. Yeah, like again, sound like a boomer, but it's like literally like I was having a conversation recently with somebody where I was like, I loved my Envy, like my old cell phone that like, like you could just flip it up and write on a keyboard. Yeah. I was so like, I loved like the tactile element of that. And I think part of what you're talking about is that aspect where, you know, when we were younger, it's like we didn't have access to see everything. And now everybody has access to everything at all points of the time and being.
Yes.
And like my mom used to be a babysitter, and like she has kids that are now like 7 years old, and they're like, I want to grow up and be like a YouTuber. It's like, what?
Yeah.
But that's crazy? Very real. Like it's a very much a real thing now, and that even kind of escalates to sort of high school kids. But I guess a good way to transition for a question with that is like for you, like influences for you in terms of that aspect of your life, right? Like the arts or creativity, like where did that kind of form in you? Because there had to have been some sort of influence, even if it's something that like maybe you haven't really thought about, something that sticks out where you're like, oh, like I wanted to do that. Like was there something in the arts or acting or movies or music that you felt when you were younger with that?
That's so interesting because so much of my background is in theater, and really initially I wanted to go into like, I had one of my best friends in the world, their name's Ren Cleveland. We were big Samuel Beckett people. Like we loved like theater of the absurd, like just the really weird theater side of theater. And I remember during our upperclassmen years of high school, given the opportunity to really do like whatever scenes you wanted to do, and either writing our own things or like choosing Samuel Beckett or like you know, just doing like the really big theater things. But finding that like, because I have thought about it, like growing up my family wasn't a big TV or movie family. Like a lot of my college career was spent catching up on like
films,
just cultural references.
100%. Like I'm one of four brothers. You know, I had a single mother for some time, and then I had a stepfather, and they were always working. Like it was just me and the boys, and like we played video games. That was usually our solace. We'd watch like cartoons, but like we weren't a big family that like went to the movies or like sat down and watched. Like we did watch movies, but like not to the degree
like, we're gonna sit down and watch like Armageddon together.
Yes.
Like
100%. But like being in the world of actors now, like working and professional actors, like people are like, they know their stuff. Like obviously you should, it's your career. But as a kid I didn't necessarily have access to that. So when I think of like influences from like movies, television shows, no single person comes to mind other than, and I guess is this corny, cheesy, like just like kind of playing pretend with my friends in high school. Like that really solidified this identity I had for myself as a performer and as someone who felt confident as a performer. That has now influenced where I am in my career now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's also hard because it's like growing up, you watch things or you see things, and sometimes it doesn't influence you in ways that things could influence you now as you're older, because it's like you're definitely not looking for things to influence you when you're younger. You're just living life and like living every minute. And so that totally makes sense. And then because I know Montclair State University very well, and it's a very heavy theater program, would you say because you leaned more theater, is that kind of what drove you to Montclair, or like what brought you to Jersey?
Because you're originally from where?
I'm from
North Carolina.
Yeah, that's most of my. Born in Maryland, spent middle school and up in North Carolina. So I just say I'm from North Carolina because I feel like developed.
That's your roots.
Yeah. Carolina boy. Scholarship. I will say that is one of the big things. I went to Unifieds and I had met the lovely Miss Heather Benton.
Yeah.
And she hooked me up with some great scholarships.
Nice.
And I auditioned for a few other schools, and I got scholarships, but not quite as much as Montclair. And we're across from the city. You can see the skyline. So there was a sense of accessibility that I knew was being put towards. I mean, you're paying tuition, but like I can go into the city when I need to see plays. And also the program is a big movement theater program, which aligns with my love for Beckett, my love for like things that are just absurd, not absurd, but
no, but it's a heavy, like for an acting program, it's definitely heavy on the theater. It's not very heavy on the film influence. Which, if you come at it from like a more theater point of view, it's your bread and butter essentially. You knew that though, right?
Yeah.
But it was more of a theater program.
I definitely knew that. I do think it's so interesting though, because the film program is so prestigious, especially for the state of New Jersey. And we were always encouraged to work with the theater program, and we did. Like we did films together, and we were always like the film kids were always excited when we had real actors because we're like, we can't do this forever. Like it's not going to work. So I do think that's interesting because it does allow the collaboration where you guys are so theater intensive, but meanwhile, like the film program wants to collaborate so much, and the arts obviously is so built on collaboration. So for you though, because you brought up the city, was that something that was like you had been to the city when you were younger, and it was like that was part of what drove you because you were like, I need to get there one day? Or was it like you were always enamored and wanted to see what that life would be like? Because for a lot of people, it's like a dream. Like
100%. I mean, I'm a little boy in North Carolina. I'm the only one who's moved away from home, from like my family. I knew for me, not that I like wanted to move away from home, but like, like
you wanted independence.
Independence, yes. And of the cities, like the big like performance hubs, I didn't see LA being my space. It just didn't feel. I did go to New York City in high school, and it was this beautiful trip, little touristy trip. Absolutely. And I just remember being like a worm in the Big Apple, like, like the lights, the people, like so much was happening, and then coming home to like Apex, North Carolina, which now is a lot more developed. But back then, like, little small town, small person, like the city just made sense to me. The other schools I was looking at was like Hart, which is like out in Connecticut. I think there's this one in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the name of it. But like Montclair was beautiful. And then being able to have access to the city, it absolutely drew me towards it. Yeah. Especially with like the theater. Like I saw myself being
a theater actor in the city.
Absolutely.
You wanted to like Broadway was the dream.
Yeah, the EC
still is the dream, presumably, or
it's sad for me to say, but no, I don't think. I mean, would I say no to a Broadway opportunity? Absolutely not. But like, I think right now where I found myself as an artist, it doesn't quite align currently with where Broadway is.
For you, was there somebody that shaped that for you, like an educator in either high school or at Montclair, that kind of had you start to think differently about the way you were going to look at the arts and look at acting in general?
Yeah, I think at least my early theater career, Heather Benton was like monumental now. She's the department head, and I feel like as an artist, I really explored a lot of my artistry with her. And then transitioning into, as we spoke about the acting for the camera class, Ellen Lancaster has been such a wonderful resource. She has been my mentor through college, post-college, like a lot of my callbacks, a lot of my final rounds for projects. I reached out to Ellen, and she just really just checks me back into place. I would say those two are big influences, mentors through my early artistic career. And then I think, is it weird to say the industry's been a mentor? Because like you're in school learning about things, but once you're out in the professional world going in for projects, like you find out where you are starting to fit in. Like, can I play Stanley Kowalski in class? Maybe. Can I play it right now? Maybe. Like, you know,
if somebody really wants to go like a non-traditional
who knows
route,
what kind of
never say never.
Yeah, but like,
never
you know,
say never.
I'm not going in for Stanley Kowalski twice a week. Yeah. But like, like the industry teaches you, I think, a lot as you're
it's like having like boots on the ground is when 100%, you really start to figure out the games.
Yeah, you're in training camp for how many years, and then you're out on the field.
Yeah. Well, that's even like they say, like the job of an actor, you're not working,
girl. Yeah.
That you're auditioning, and like when you're younger and you're in school and you're like,
beautiful. I wanted that.
I'm gonna get one audition and I'm gonna make it from that.
I'm gonna save my family. I'm gonna pull up, say goodbye to Apex, North Carolina. No.
And then all of a sudden you're like, man, I'm sick of auditioning. But do you love auditioning still? Give us your thoughts on it.
It's like, how do you feel? The most beautifully horrific abusive relationship.
Yes.
It's like, when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's bad. It's so auditioning pre-pandemic. I had 1 year out before the pandemic happened, and then after the pandemic, the audition landscape has really like just shifted completely. So it's become all virtual. So virtual self-tapes, virtual callbacks. Sometimes you're meeting castmates for the first time on day one of shooting, like, or rehearsals, you know, like back before the pandemic, you're going in person. So it really felt like boots on the ground. Now it's like, it feels at times like a vacuum, and like, you know, you'll get close to projects and then you'll just get ghosted. You'll just never hear back again. And it's like, okay, like, sweet. I love it. Let me go do it again and again and again. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure every actor can say it. It sucks. Self-taping is a skill. It's a new thing. And you really have to hone it because, you know, I went in for a procedure recently where like my friend is like in the stretcher and he's dying. And I'm like, oh, like, Jason, I'm like, what's up? And I'm doing that in like a room with like a light on me with my backdrop. There's a dog walking around the room. I'm like, you know, like, but if I was on set, they'd like,
it's kind of the same things happening almost in a way. It's like
they'll have a person there hopefully, or like, you know, there'll be an ambulance, there'll be all these things. So like that little trying to draw that line is just something new and just a skill you have to really craft. That's different from actually being on set. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It just sounds like so much more of it now leads up to the imagination, but it sounds like that was so much of how you found yourself, was doing so much of the imagination when you were younger, you know? DJ. So I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. But like for you, like, what are some of the bigger struggles you felt? Because obviously, like, in general, the arts are not all sunshine and rainbows, regardless of people thinking that they are.
It's a business.
It is. It's a business, and it's also the element of it where like majority of artists are perfectionists and they want to make sure that everything is exactly how it is, and it leads to all the other things, anxiety, stress, whatever. So like, not to focus on negative, but like in terms of your young career so far, like what are some struggles that you faced as an actor?
Yes. I think acting or auditioning is such a catch-22, you know, like you can't audition for this project unless you have the reps, and you don't have the reps unless you have the project. And it really is so much like people taking a chance on you, people believing in you, and getting you to the right rooms at the right time. I was talking to another actor friend, like the roles that I've booked are me, the talent I have and the hard work I put in, but also like a lottery, you know? I think it's like the two working hand in hand. I was in the right place at the right time with the right role that came up. And it worked out. But I think like that as a person trying to break into the industry is really difficult. I think the feeling of the vacuum, especially, like rarely do you actually get feedback. Like you're just sending tapes out into the dark, and you'll get a call back. You'll get asked to audition for something different in the future. It might be in months, it might be in a year, it might be the next week, and you have no control over that. I think the self is, I think, a really big struggle, because like artists, we're performers, we're meant to perform, and like, I mean, we can perform, but like I have bills to pay, I have, you know, health insurance now, like, you know, all these things that like I have to go to my day job for 9 hours and come home and do a self tape. Like that's hard. Hard.
Yeah. I feel like it's also so contradictory to like what you're taught if you're an artist, right? Like you just get thrown into like quote unquote the machine, and that's like what it is, and that's how it feels. Like I feel like that's a lot. I mean, in general, like a lot of people with the current state of things, I feel like probably feel that way. It's just constantly going in circles and circles. But at the same time, like obviously the artistry means so much. Like it has to be great when you do get those opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, when you're finally getting an opportunity to shine and be like, wow, I did put my all into this audition. Like now I'm going to be able to show what I worked so hard on.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
And I think that's like, I don't know, those moments when you like have to step back and be like, oh my God, like this is what I wanted. And it's this beautiful moment, and then it's gone. And then it's like, it feels almost addicting in the way. It's like, okay, I booked this job. It happened. It was amazing and cool. And now I'm just I'm in the ocean again, swimming, hoping to find another island. But man, do those islands feel great.
Yeah. Are you a Harry Potter fan? I know Liz, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you see the recent interview with Emma Watson?
Mm-hmm.
She talked about that aspect of how she kind of got out of acting because after Harry Potter, they were such a family. Like when they were on those sets, that when she would leave and she would do other projects, like it didn't have the same feeling.
Yeah.
And it's like we're constantly chasing that, you know, like those moments on sets or those certain plays that you would do. So it's a struggle, man. Like you said, it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you got to do what you got to do, and it's, I guess, finding the middle ground with all of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like the hardest part is like you get into the arts because you love it, and it's like almost in your soul, but then you start to realize you're like, this is my business and this is my job, and I also need to be able to turn off the business and like thinking about it all the time.
Totally.
And that, I think, is where you can find real success, is the people that are able to make that clear line of like, no, okay, I'm going to put this away for a little bit. And as much as I love it and as much as I hate it at the same time, I need a break from it so that I'm not always having like the wheels turning all the time. And that's also with anything. I mean, it's any job. If you talk to any entrepreneur, essentially actors are entrepreneurs. You're your own business. And they say, they're like, you have to find that clear work-life balance. And it's hard because it is like, you want to put all your time and effort into it because you feel like if you just work hard enough and harder, you'll get it. And it's like, you might not, unfortunately, but like you want to, but in order to keep your mental state clean, you also have to keep a clear line.
So you've been located on both coasts. Like for you, how is the creative environment different on the West Coast versus the East Coast in terms of work, in terms of life, in terms of all?
It's a loaded question. I found myself on the West Coast post-pandemic, and honestly, we talk about like taking breaks as an artist. The pandemic was like an artistic break.
Oh yeah,
I had no choice. I feel like
nobody had a choice.
Yeah. Everyone had to take a break from their lives. So I knew during the pandemic, I was like, if I come out of this and I still want to be an actor, like, okay, I'll keep going. And I still did, thankfully. But yeah, I found myself on the West Coast, and I got reps, and you know, it was just crickets. I did play. I did a play out there.
You were in Los Angeles?
Yes, I was I initially started out in Orange County, and then I made my way up to like the greater LA area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different industry out there. I think LA, the weather's fucking amazing. The food's so good. The people are really lovely. But I think I learned that breaking into a scene that you don't have any roots in is hard. And especially because everything is self-taped now, I'm not actually going to offices. Like, it's hard to make connections with just, I think, other artists. I had a little artist community in like an acting class I took. That was really nice. But all the jobs I booked kept bringing me back to the East Coast.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I started taking it as a sign that I got to go. And also, I think I moved to LA and then the strikes happened, and that lasted. How long was that? I think that was like.
Honest,
so you moved there.
A lot of strikes.
You graduated Montclair what year? 2018.
2018.
And that's so you would have moved there. You said during the pandemic or post, like 2021.
Yeah, so I was in New York for a year. Yeah, so about 2021, 22.
Okay.
I was there.
Yeah, strikes I think were 2022, maybe.
Yeah.
2022, 2023.
Was it writers?
Writers first.
Yeah.
And that lasted for a while, and then as soon as they came back, the actors went on strike.
Yes.
What, like a month later?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was rough. It was rough.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't really recovered.
Yeah, dude. And
Fully.
so I did beekeeping when I was out there. I feel like
Whoa.
LA was like my artistic, I was like a barista. I became a baker. I was baking like at this cafe. I was really just like meeting cool people. I miss all my friends out there, but yeah, that felt like, I feel like it was just like the fertilizer was my time on the West Coast. And I do see myself going back at some point. But I'm loving it over here on the East Coast. I think the East Coast, obviously, like the theater scene here is just over there. They have theater out there, but the contracts are different. And I will say that is one of the big differences, is that the theater scene out in LA, they have this specific like 99-seat, 299-seat contracts, and it's just a bunch of theater companies that like go to theaters. From my experience, I don't think this is completely, I hope it's mostly true, but yeah, so like theater companies will have shows that they bring to theater, so they'll do a lot of collaboration. So a lot of the plays out there, I felt like, were a lot of new works, a lot of like world premieres, a lot of just really unique storytelling that New York has, and I think LA just doesn't have as much. They don't have as many theaters. So I felt like, for me, I get very overwhelmed when there's a lot of options. That the LA scene, I really was taking in a lot of like what was happening. I saw a lot of plays out there, which is crazy because I feel like in New York,
I don't see a lot over here.
Well, everything's so expensive.
Well, that too. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
I feel like that is a whole other conversation. But yeah, LA, it's hard. My time during there was post-pandemic. Then the strikes happened, and just as I was leaving, the fires started. So like LA's had a difficult time, and I think artistry too is just different on both coasts. I don't know how else it is. It's different.
The personalities are very different.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like I've only been to Los Angeles a few times. So my first time going there, it is like so much of that like fever dream at first, where you're like, oh, I remember seeing that. Oh, I remember that. But you start to like hear conversation, and you see like the way other people are, and it's like, I know Kevin Smith was like, I think one of the people that talked about it, and he's based like in New Jersey, grew up in New Jersey, and now he lives in New Jersey again. But like going to LA was something that like for a little bit changed the way he was as a person. So it's different in terms of, I guess, even the creative outlets, like what people are doing. We were talking before we started recording about like the Safdies and how like they're so rooted in New York that they'll never be LA people. Like you could just like, it's 100%. A gritty like there's something to that,
And I think you're absolutely right, because even breakdown wise, like me seeing breakdowns on the East Coast versus the West Coast, I did notice on the West Coast that a lot of the breakdowns included like very attractive or like very handsome, or which like they have it definitely on the East Coast too. But I know for me, trying to self-submit for projects, like there were things where I was like, oh, I don't think I can actually go in for that. I can't go in for that. I can't go in for that. I can't go in for that. That could it be because I was just on the West Coast and that was just in my like on my radar? Because I hear like people talk about like LA, everyone's super attractive, obviously. Get a lot of sunlight. There's a beach, you know. I mean, I know
everyone's tan all the time.
I was like bouldering. That was like my hobby. I was doing that like multiple times a week. Like that was and like I have my friend group, like we go to like hot yoga. It was great. So nice.
And then you come here to New York
and it's
people
cold,
are freezing and angry on the subway.
Yeah.
And all they've had to eat is a coffee.
Exactly. Yeah. No. 100%.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah. Like in LA, you're driving everywhere. There's sunshine. It barely rains. Out here, it's like, let's see what smell I smell on this street. Yeah. Which, like, you know, it's New York. That's what you're supposed to expect. But like, it's just different.
It's just different monsters.
Yeah,
like,
and they're both monsters.
Exactly. That's what it is. And like, there's no rhyme or reason of why you would thrive on one coast versus the other because they truly are just their own entity. And like, I have some friends that like came to New York trying to chase the big dream and they were like, no, I totally just got eaten up and spat out from that city versus they find LA much easier to just kind of handle. Yeah. Because New York it's
overstimulating.
It can be scary just being thrown into this city, like take out the creative aspect at all, just moving to New York, not with a dream in hand, just trying to like survive there. Low-key impossible. Yeah. So I totally understand why there's two different approaches for like both coasts. But so now would you say because you're on the East Coast, so now that you're really starting to get more auditions, now that you're back here, you're starting to really get into the grind, do you have a set process when you get a script?
Okay.
Or do you take it by as it like, does it depend on what you're doing?
Yeah.
What is kind of your approach when your manager or agent gives you a new script?
Yeah, it definitely fluctuates. I think.
Do you have a set plan or is it kind of just like.
I mean, it depends because like you're auditioning for a procedural, you approach a procedural differently than you would for like a drama versus a comedy versus a series, you know, mini series. Like when I think of my approach, like
you, not like you don't have to get into like actual like technique, but are there things that like Andrew does that
oh my god, okay,
you, that like
absolutely
you need to do in order to really feel comfortable before submitting?
If it's a role that I mean there are ones where I'm just like, oh, this comes easy, boom boom boom, but if it's like a role that I do this a lot for theater auditions, I'd say. I call it a day in the life. I literally will like, so I'll go to work, but that day I'll be Jonas. Oh. No one will know I'm Jonas. In my head, I interact with the world as if I was Jonas, but like that helps me step in a little bit. That feels like an Andrew. That's something that I do for myself. And I was talking to my therapist. I'm just linking this.
We'll send it to the therapist when the episode's
done. We'll save this clip for but I was really struggling with like confidence post-pandemic, and I was in rounds for this character that was really confident. You know, he was like an every person man, you know, like everyone loved him. So I had a day in the life of this character, and I remember stepping I like 3 people gave me their number, like all this stuff, like really like things that like me, Andrew would never be doing, but like I did it for the role. And where am I going with this? I feel like I just remember feeling closer to the character. So when I had to step in for the self-tape, it didn't feel so much like
so far away.
Yeah. So that feels like something when I feel like there's a character that I have to do work for, I kind of try to emulate him for a day just to see how it fits wearing their shoes.
Yeah. Has that always worked?
Has that always worked?
For like almost everything you've auditioned for? Are there certain characters where you're like, wow, I've done this for 2 hours, I can't do this anymore? Yeah, like, I know this isn't me.
Oh, absolutely. I think
you don't have to give specifics, by the way, but
no, there are some where I'm like, I think the ones, obviously, like the ones with the more difficult characters, like I think the ones in like certain states of mind, the ones who like, You know, anger isn't an emotion that is easily accessible to me day to day. Like, I just don't think I revert to anger. And I know in auditions that, like, that's going to come up. Like, there are characters with short tempers or anything like that. And those are hard. Those are ones that I don't like to live in too long.
I was going to say, next time I see Andrew, he's
he's going to look like, he's going to be like, what's up, Liz?
Which character are you?
Eyes bulging out of his head.
Like, I'm actually not auditioning. I'm just crazy.
Yeah, you're like...
Oh my god. But no, I think I know when I do book roles, that is definitely something that I'll like journal as the character. Like, you know.
That was that's funny you said that, because that was the one when for the very short time when I first started teaching, and I had to teach actors for 2 months for her in place of her old high school teacher. One of the lessons I taught them was something I learned from Michael B. Jordan, that he talked about in an interview, where he said when he gets a character, he writes a journal for 30 days as a character.
Yeah.
And it was an exercise that the students loved as well. So like, that's something that, like, if I were an actor, I feel like I would do a similar process. But I think it's really cool that you do like a whole wake up and live in the life of that character before you have to go in for an audition.
Yeah.
So I guess, because we're going to transition to the task in a minute anyway, but like, for the character of Ethan, like, did you do that as well? I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
And did you do that before the audition, or did you do it like audition and then once you booked it, you're like, let me try this now
100%.
that I have it too?
Yeah. Ethan, I auditioned for it I think 3 months prior to booking it, and I remember, and these were all self-tapes. The first tape I sent out, I didn't hear back like for a month, and then another request came in and I was like, oh cool. And you know, I started getting it coached, getting ready for getting it as great as I could get it. But yeah, that one, and I think that's one that I is, you know, it's Ethan. Like, it's hard to live in with that much guilt, you know. And trying to authentically live in that is hard.
Yeah.
And it's fun because you're an actor, but like,
it's a dark series.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
it's dark material.
Yeah,
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
And okay, so obviously you in Task, you have a relationship with a sister who's played by Silvia. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
like how it was working with Silvia?
Yeah, Silvia was great. I know, because for me, I was coming in later into the production. So when I had booked the job, she had like, I remember she texted me and it just was so cool. She just was like, hey, like, I'm Silvia, I'm playing your sister. I'd love to hang out before we meet on set, which is like, thank God. Cause like walking onto like an HBO set for like my first time was absolutely terrifying. Not only that, but like I was getting my head shaved. Like, it was a lot of things that I knew after the booking and going into that I was like, okay, wow. Like,
yeah.
A lot of like big things that I wasn't sure what to expect. And I think we met, I think I had went to set and we like did some photos, and then they shaved my head. And Silvia was like, let's hang out. So I drove and I picked her up and we went and got pizza and we just like hung out and really got to know each other. And luckily Silvia and I had mutual friends. So she is just so sweet and just so warm and really made me feel so comfortable. So when we came to filming our scene, it just was like
magic.
It just was like all the fears I had of walking onto this big set like really just went away.
Yeah.
And even like in the green room prior to filming, we were chatting, I was so thankful for Silvia.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Oh, she's
doing really great work.
Yeah,
she is.
You can tell the rapport though in the scene too. Like it feels like, again, it's like I said before, it's very lived in series. It feels like it's not people on screen playing characters. It feels like these are all people that really exist. So
absolutely,
it's awesome.
Everyone on set, like, you felt how much everyone loves the characters. Like me walking in, like I immediately felt like part of the family because they've been with the show for so long. Ethan's talked about throughout the season, like I really felt the love, and it just was like, you know, I think it's rare in any collaboration experience to feel like 360, like everyone really cares about the project and loves the project. And this set felt like it during my time on it. Yeah.
It's a great show. I'm so excited to like see the last 2 episodes. It's a really great show right now. I'm so excited.
It's awesome. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. Seriously,
It's a wonderful
genuinely.
show.
No, it is. It's really great. I mean, HBO. They
Popped
always
off.
got good stuff. They really
go
do.
off.
They really do. They have so much awesome stuff. So it's great that that you've gotten an opportunity like this. I think it's awesome, and I definitely think that people, like I said, if you're not watching it, you should be watching it. There's 2 episodes left by the time this is airing, so in time for the finale. Make sure you guys are watching.
Yes.
Well, we're getting to the end, but we have just a few more questions, kind of like general ones. Do you have any dream roles? And it could be something that's already been created, or it could be just like a certain stereotype that you would like to play.
Okay, when I think of like dream role, I'm a big drama guy. I love dramas. I think a lot of like Cooper Rafe's work. I would love to anything he makes.
Cha Cha Real Smooth.
Oh my god,
is my spirit.
Shithouse. Like I feel like as an artist, there are times when you see work and you're like, fuck, like that's, I don't know how I can say it badly.
You could do that. It's fine.
But like, you know, you see people's work and you step away after the experience and you're like, where it just feels like it fuels that flame. And I feel like anything he's putting out every time, like 10 out of 10. And just like, I love seeing just like the stories he tells. I don't know.
And now Cooper Rafe's next series is with your on-screen father.
Freaking
So what
Alan
are we gonna
Harper.
do with that?
I cannot. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It looks so amazing.
So
yeah.
anything with Cooper Rafe.
Cooper Rafe, I would love to work with him. Dream roles. I'm trying to think if there's anything. You know, I think of theater when I think of dream roles. Is that crazy?
That's right where I go to.
Yeah,
it also.
yeah.
Because it's much more like, well, a dream role is something like my brain goes to something that's already been created. Then, not necessarily brand new, like screenplay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I go to the same mental place.
I hear that. I'd love to play Constantine, like, in The Seagull. Like that feels like a dream role for me. There's this play called Sanctuary City that I really love.
I actually don't know
it. It's a wonderful, beautiful play. I do think I'm aging out of it, but it's okay. It's okay.
All right. So anybody that wants to put on,
yeah, dream role, and then let me think of like a movie
or filmmakers that you'd want to work.
Filmmakers,
or another actor that you'd want to co-star
with.
I'd love to play Justice Smith's brother.
Oh,
could totally say it.
Would love to play his brother in something.
Have you ever, or are you interested in ever producing your own work, whether that's writing or having a production company or anything like that?
Yeah, I honestly dream of dreams. I want to be in a place where I can financially have my own production company and produce my own work. Like, I do dabble in some writing, and I have a few scripts I'm working on that I would love to see the light of day. Me and my friend back home, Ren, we produced like a little short, like it was during the pandemic. We had a little measly budget. We filmed it, we edited it. And that was really fun. And after that, I was like, oh my God, we could totally do this. But yes, I would love to have a production company. I'd love to tell immigrant stories. Right now is really like juicy for me. Like I want to tell, I think stories that like Minari, beautiful. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, I mean, that was a stunning movie, but like, you know, yeah, I'd love to have a production company. That's like, what is that, 15-year goal?
Oh, yeah.
It's a great 15-year goal.
15 years. Like, 15
I think that's
years.
realistic,
When I turn 25, like... Yeah, 15
I'll be
years old.
22.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Oh my God, Andrew playing the 10-year-old convict in
Yes,
Task. You
thank
guys
you.
can-
Thank you. I couldn't be on set all the time because, yeah.
You know, the parents had to be around.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, my mom and dad were on set.
But you've mentioned a lot of your influences and things like that, but just like now let's talk currently. Like what are things, I mean obviously Task, but what are other things that you've been watching recently this year, whether it's television, whether it's films that you've seen this year that you want to highlight or that you like really
my God.
inspired you or something?
Twinless. I was just talking to Liz about it.
We loved it.
Freaking
Yeah, we loved it. We saw it at
Twinless.
Tribeca, right? Was that
Yeah, it was at
festival?
Tribeca.
I was
Yeah.
so jealous when you guys had seen that, and I was just chomping away till that reached theaters. Twinless, Dylan O'Brien, James Sweeney,
Chef's kiss.
director, written, started.
I know.
Come on, get
Amazing.
the fuck out
Come
of
on.
Like, God, that movie was really fantastic. Weapons was great. Loved that. I'm trying to think of TV shows I'm watching. I mean, I watched White Lotus. That was fantastic.
You said
Watching
Do you-
anime.
anime. What do you?
Yeah,
what-
anime right now feels like a nice palate cleanser.
Okay, what are some of your favorite things you're watching?
I just
with
watched the
anime?
Demon Slayer movie, yo.
Okay,
That was hype.
nice.
I know. What is coming out? Something just came out.
I can't help
My
with this
Hero.
conversation. I'm sorry.
My Hero Academia.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
I finished that. I think the new season drops.
Okay.
I'm on like an anime kick.
Okay.
Because I
Okay.
think like
We gotta get Vinny on this
Yeah.
conversation.
depending on the state of the world, I ebb and flow with my intake of like, because I'm a big drama guy. I love dramas, but
You gotta have the lighter fare sometimes.
yeah, like I can't be like, and like Task is really beautiful and dark.
Yeah.
So yeah, I palate cleanse with some animes.
Mhm. Are there anything that? Are you a reader? Do you read plays? Do you read
Yeah,
books?
I read books right now. I'm reading. Okay, this is actually getting adapted to the movie. So, Children of Blood and Bone.
Oh yeah, it's a big production.
I know. Ooh, I cannot wait. I read the first and second book back when they came out, and the third one came out I think last year. So I'm listening to books right now. 'Cause-
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, so because I'm commuting so much in and out of the city.
Mhm.
So I'm re-listening through the first few books, and I just read Parables of the Sower.
Oh, okay.
Dark. It was great, really dark. That one I had to hop over to something a little. I mean, Children of Blood and Bone is dark
Heavy?
too, but like not heavy in the same sense.
Okay.
Rose of the Sower feels like current adjacent. Like
Okay.
it feels like 15, 20 years in the future, and it's really
Oh.
dark.
Okay. What a great interview. We're going to wrap it up now. We love to end it with a little bracket.
Okay.
A little bracket, a little fun.
It's fun and
a little
games, Andrew. That's all it is.
So we gave you a choice of films, television shows, or actors, and you chose films.
Films,
So we're
yes.
gonna do this or that
Okay.
for top films from 2015 to 2025.
Love it.
Okay, DJ, why don't you start us off?
Andrew, let's do this bracket. This
Okay.
is a bunch of different movies
Okay.
from, as Liz said, from 2015 to 2025. We will get to an eventual winner. So we're going to start with both 2015. You said you like dramas. One is more of a straight drama. One's kind of a dramedy. It's going to be either Spotlight or The Big Short. That's your on-screen daddy, dude.
I know. I'm like, I have to say Spotlight.
Okay. Next, we're going to do a Best Picture winner in Moonlight or Manchester by the Sea, another dark movie.
Moonlight. It has to be Moonlight.
Moonlight. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next one, cultural status movies. These are films that are in the lexicon forever for all different reasons, right? So you have the start of the career of Timmy with Call Me by Your Name,
Get out of here.
or we have a Greta Gerwig directorial debut
Oh,
in
man.
Lady Bird. You can give reasons too if you feel
Okay.
like you want to.
Timmy. I think I'm gonna have to go with Call Me by Your Name, only because when that movie first came out, it had my heart.
It's a great film.
It had my heart. That movie at the time, when both of those movies came out, and I witnessed both of those movies, Call Me by Your Name just never left me.
It was just like a shift, I feel like, even in terms of like awards movies. Like
Yeah.
there weren't those movies weren't being considered.
Yeah.
Until movies like that were made. Both obviously great filmmakers. All right, so here's one you brought up. So this is why we selected it, but I paired it with what I think is an animated classic. I think it's a little underrated, but we have either Minari or Pixar's Soul.
Oh. Because what Soul did for me as an artist was like it gave me a huge hug.
That's an artist's movie. It
Yeah.
really is.
But Minari, I'm only gonna say Soul because Minari. I will say Minari's trailer gave away. I don't know if you watched Minari's trailer before watching Minari, but
I actually haven't seen Minari.
okay, don't watch the trailer. I feel like had I walked in without seeing the trailer, I would have enjoyed it more. But Minari,
Still fantastic.
yeah, still fantastic movie. But
Okay.
I think I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Soul. I think
Okay.
Soul.
All right.
Last one for the first round. Another one that you mentioned, Everything Everywhere All at Once, or the cultural phenomenon known as Barbie, another Greta Gerwig joint.
This one's easy. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Okay.
I'm not gonna give it to Barbie. Love you, Barbie, but like,
Okay, so out of the 5 you picked, we have to, because it's a bracket, we have to take one of them out. So out of the 5 that you selected, what's one that you would be like, all right, I'm cool, I don't need it? You got Spotlight, Moonlight, Call Me by Your Name, Soul, or Everything Everywhere All at Once. You were on an island. You get 4 movies out of these 5.
okay, that's a good.
Which
way to
4 are
think
you
of it.
taking?
I think I had to get rid of Spotlight.
Okay.
I knew you were going to
Yeah,
say that.
I
I
know.
felt it.
Now we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to go with either Moonlight or Everything Everywhere All at Once. 2 Best Picture winners. Entirely different films. Barry Jenkins joint, a Daniels joint. What do you got?
I think I'm gonna give it to Everything Everywhere.
Oh, what's the thought process?
Well, I don't know if I could watch Moonlight again.
So it's the rewatchability for you,
Okay.
Right?
With Everything Everywhere.
Potentially, but also Everything Everywhere. I just felt like I was part of that because I remember seeing it because it had a resurgence
Mm-hmm.
when it initially came out.
Yeah, it came out, I think, like Q1 or the beginning of Q2 of that year.
And then it's one of those where I'm like, I saw it before everyone else did.
Yeah.
But like even like before it even
Really hit the trajectory.
I just remember seeing an image of the eyes.
Mm.
And I remember seeing it being like, this looks like a really crazy movie and I'm going to follow it. And I watched it and was blown away. And then luckily everyone else realized how amazing the movie was. So I'm going with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right, it's in your final, so it's locked in. Now your what is going to face off against it? You have either 2 very different movies: Call Me by Your Name or Soul.
And I'm only saying this simply because of its moment in time in my life. I think I'm going to go with Call Me by Your Name.
Okay, so we've made it to the end. It's your chance to shine. Call Me by Your Name, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Which one are you taking?
I think it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, well, you have the same mind as the Academy, which is great.
Yes.
Which is great. All the movies are great. Is there a reason why that one in particular, like, is such a kind of staple? And is there a movie that we might not have mentioned from the last 10 years that you think has an even bigger effect maybe than Everything Everywhere for you?
I think for me, Everything Everywhere just felt like that movie made me walk away being like multiverses exist. Is that crazy?
We got to do another podcast.
Is that
We got to do
crazy?
another podcast.
Statement.
No, but truly, like
You
the
were like,
way...
I'm a believer.
Yeah, because Marvel does the multiverses, which is I think in its own sense really cool, really awesome. But like to bring that into like
Mm-hmm.
Something more grounded.
yes
Yeah.
was just so. I think I just hadn't experienced an experience like that. Whereas I feel like Call Me by Your Name was a really beautifully, also aesthetically beautiful
Mm-hmm.
movie. Timothée Chalamet like ate down, and it sticks with me, but in a different way.
Mm.
I think And then also I keep bringing up the cannibalism.
Yeah,
But it's just like it kind of
he ate down. I was like, oh
no,
what
Timothy
a word
didn't
choice.
eat down. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Andrew, what an amazing ending to an amazing interview. We
Thank you.
loved having you on. This is so
Thanks
much
for
fun.
having me. This is wonderful.
We can't wait to see the rest of Taz.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It's gonna be great. We can't wait to have you on for your next big endeavor.
Yes.
And we just are so excited for people that follow along to be able to follow along now with your career and see just where everything takes you in life.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. Do you guys have any other last thoughts?
No, I just it's so exciting to see your career take off in this way. I think it's a great project to kind of have on your resume because it's a really great show in general, and I'm not just saying that.
I
So
appreciate it. I'm
thank
so
you.
grateful.
Thank you for being here. Everybody should, as I said, watch Task. It's on HBO Sunday nights at 9 p.m. It airs. You guys
Let's
can
go.
watch it also on HBO Max. There's 2 episodes left. You may or may not see Andrew. We're not sure, but check it out. Definitely watch Task. And Andrew's social media stuff is also in our description, so you can give him a follow there as well.
Sweet.
Yes. Well, just signing off. I'm Liz Seiko.
I'm Darian Scalamoni.
And I'm Andrew Russell.
Thank you for watching.
This is The Culture.